Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the City of Paterson Planning Board meeting of Wednesday, March 30th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. via webinar session. This is a special meeting that will be conducted this evening. This is the first of two. Madam Chair, you may continue with your meeting.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Please rise for the flag salute. And after the flag salute, would everyone remain standing for a moment of silence, please? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing, please, for a moment. Suddenly, this past week, we lost a longtime chairman, Gerald Thaxton, of the Board of Adjustments. He's going to be sorely missed. It was a sudden death, and I'm going to miss him dearly, and I think anyone who's worked with him is going to miss him dearly. He served also on the Urban Enterprise Zone years ago on my board when I was director, and he was a gentleman all the way and a civic-minded person. Always giving of himself to the city of Paterson. So please join me in a moment of silence for Mr. Thaxton.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Please be seated. He will be sorely missed, that's for sure. All right, so Commissioners, Planning Board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 3/30/22 to order. I hereby state that all of the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 3/18/22 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedure tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office in the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Roll call, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'll start with Commissioner Udine is absent this evening. Vice Chairman Udine. Commissioner Ahmed is absent. Commissioner Cleves. Present. Thank you. Commissioner Fisher is absent. Commissioner Liranzo.
Present.
Hi, Commissioner. Thank you. Commissioner Santana. Present. Thank you. Commissioner, we'll go back. Commissioner Amar. Present. Commissioner Roman is absent. Commissioner Figueroa is absent. Councilman Kalik is absent. And Chairwoman Northrop.
Here.
We have 5 commissioners in attendance this evening.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, notice pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act addressing effective coronavirus measures on the next public meeting is consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107 given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020 by Governor Philip D. Murphy. The Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8, commencing on April 15, 2020. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the council chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said Executive Order Number 107, public participation will be available by calling 973-321-1579, and the meeting ID is 711-680-0000. I will repeat that later on this evening, so if you didn't get it, you'll hear it again. And the meeting is scheduled to commence tonight, so the public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson at www.patersonnj.gov. We have a special meeting this evening that should have began at 6:30 due to technical difficulties. We will hear from them now. One quick question, Mr. Deutsch. Are you gonna be doing the review this evening? Cause I don't see.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, Paterson Falls Realty Group LLC, 285-287 Fulton Place, and 270-272 Lawrence Place, Block 3206, Lot 16 and 17. I will ask everyone at this time to please turn off your microphones, mute yourselves, okay, so that there's no background noise and we can get through this. Thank you. The applicant proposes to remove the existing structures on the lots having combined area of 6,808 square feet and construct a new 4-story residential building with a total of 18 units. First floor proposes parking for 13 vehicles, an entrance, lobby, a package room, a refuge and recycling room, a sprinkler room, bicycle storage, an elevator, and 2 stairwells. The second, third, and fourth floors each propose 2 efficiency units, 3 one-bedroom units, and 1 two-bedroom unit on each floor. The rooftop indicates 2,757 square feet of amenity space. This proposal is within the RA-2 zone of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. Variances are requested for the following. Rear yard setback as a minimum of 20 feet is required and 5 feet is proposed. Number of building stories as 3.5-story building is permitted and a 4-story building is being proposed. Maximum coverage as 60% building coverage is permitted and 73% building coverage is proposed. And maximum impervious coverage as impervious coverage of 80% is permitted and 88% impervious coverage is proposed. And parking as 19 parking spaces required and 13 parking spaces are proposed. Sorry, Mr. Rubin.
You're pushing the meeting.
Yes, I am. You are representing the Paterson Falls Realty, correct?
Yes, Michael Rubin, 1330 Hamburg Turnpike, Wayne Township, New Jersey. We represent Paterson Falls Realty Group LLC, located at 175 Broadway in the city of Paterson. And this is an application at 285-287 Fulton Place in the city. And we are ready for Mr. Deutsch's review.
Thank you so much. My apologies again. Go ahead, Mr. Deutsch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Property taxes and sewer charges are current. Persons holding a 10% or more of the stock ownership in Paterson Falls Realty Group LLC are Matthew Florio, providing an address of 175 Broadway, Paterson, New Jersey, 07505. As indicated on the survey prepared by James Pica, PLS, and dated June 30th, 2021, the parcel is fronted 42 feet along Fulton Place.
In reality, what are their names?
That we can hear Mr. Deutsch's review, and there's no other interruptions. Thank you.
Additional frontage of 140.51 feet along East 16th Street. Side, rear, and rear lot lines that measure 52.87 feet and 140 feet. The site is area of 6,808 square feet, 0.16 acres. The site is located on the eastern side of The survey also indicates that a one-story concrete block building exists on the northeast corner of East 16th Street. A wall and fence is indicated.
Michael, I don't hear you. You're muted.
And we can hear him.
Maggie, I'm sorry, everyone else can hear
You're
Mr.
kicked out. Does
Deutsch.
anybody hear me?
No. I would all hear,
I don't
Maggie,
hear you,
listen.
Michael, I don't hear you, Jan, either.
okay,
And also, I don't hear you either.
okay, call me,
Okay, I'll figure it out.
call me. Okay.
Michael Deutsch, I don't hear you.
Everyone else hears me.
Court reporter, do you hear him? Do you hear me?
Yes,
I don't hear you guys.
everybody.
yeah. Loud and clear.
Andy Reid, not for nothing, I don't work for you. Let me find out from my staff and everyone else how to work this. There's a problem here. Thank you. With all due respect, but when you say like this, call me. Gotta make sure.
Please continue, please continue.
The sir, alright, where was I? Where the wall ends, the northern side of the building. Has prepared a 4-page site plan dated September 29, 2021. Sheet number S1 is the site plan details page and indicates a concrete sidewalk detail, barrier-free parking detail, the seepage pit detail, a 200-foot radius tax map indicating the properties in question, site notes, the zoning ordinance data, and the existing site plan and the proposed site plan. A note on the plan states that the entire site and site perimeter is to be equipped with video security throughout the public areas, and site lighting is to be installed along the traveled public right-of-way and parking area. Surveillance cameras are to connect to the City of Paterson Police Department system. The RA-2 residential district is designed to permit a more intensive residential use of land with various types of dwellings. Density is maintained in a medium range. The proposed 4-story building is to be placed 3 feet from the Fulton Place property line, 3 feet from the East 16th Street property line, 5 feet from the northern side property line, and 5 feet from the eastern rear property line. Sheet number S2 is the site details plan. A permit is required from the Hudson Essex Passaic Soil Conservation Service prior to final approval. Plan indicates the water connection, the detail of the depressed driveway, concrete vertical curb and roadway pavement widening, the sanitary sewer connection, the accessible parking stall, the lighting detail, and the proposed site plan. The proposed site plan indicates that access into the site is proposed through a 24-foot driveway located on East 16th Street. 13 parking spaces are indicated, including 1 handicap space. The parking arrangement requires turning maneuverability, as cars parking head-in will either have to reverse past the driveway to leave or do several on-site turns depending on where they are parked. Sheet number A1 are the floor plans. The building has an approximate dimension of 35 feet in width and 132 feet in length. The first floor indicates that the resident entrance is from Fulton Place. From the entrance lobby, a person can proceed to the package room, a staircase, the elevator, the refuge room, or to the parking garage. On the East 16th side of the building, there is an exterior door into the refuge room and a roll-up door into the parking garage. Parking stalls are 9 feet in width by 18 feet in length. The handicapped accessible space is wider in width. Backup driveway aisle varies but indicates a minimum of 24 feet. On the northeast corner of the building, the second staircase is located, which has an exterior door to the north side of the building. An enclosed sprinkler room is placed to the west of the staircase. A bicycle storage rack is located between a parking space and the stairwell. The building has no basement. The applicant should advise as to the placement of a mailbox location. The second, third, and fourth floors are identical in layout. The second, third, and fourth floors each propose 2 efficiency units, 3 one-bedroom units, and 1 two-bedroom unit on each floor. The 2 studio units contain 482 and 541 square feet. Each unit includes a kitchen, a full bathroom and laundry, and mechanical closet. The 3 one-bedroom units include 622, 655, and 691 square feet. Each unit includes a living room, a kitchen, a full bathroom, and a laundry and mechanical closet. The 2-bedroom unit contains 989 square feet and includes a living room, a kitchen, a full bathroom, and a laundry and mechanical closet. A total of 18 residential units are proposed. The roof plan indicates 18 condenser units, tree planters, seating, and table areas on a wood decking. The rooftop terrace space is proposed to be 2,757 square feet. Sheet number 8.2 are the building elevations. The Fulton Place elevation indicates a first floor facade with an access door surrounded by brick. The staircase area is enclosed with brick and dark cherry siding topped by a pylon molding. Casement windows are indicated on all 3 of the upper floors. The East 16th Street elevation indicates a brick surrounds the parking garage door, 5 windows, and the exterior door to the refuse room. The 2nd, 3rd, 4th floors alternate stucco and brick facades, casement windows on all floors, and a decorative cornice at the ridge line. The right side elevation indicates that the first floor is partially closed and mainly open for parking. The exterior of the upper floors are a stucco finish with windows on all floors. The rear elevation indicates that the first floor is partially closed and mainly open for parking. The upper floors have a stucco finish. The building has a height of approximately 42 feet. This is a flat roof building with a decorative molding at the ridge line. Variances are requested for the following. Rear yard setback is a minimum of 20 feet is required and 5 feet is proposed. Number of building stories as a 3.5-story building is permitted and a 4-story building is proposed. Maximum building coverage at 60% building coverage is permitted and 73% building coverage is proposed. And maximum impervious coverage as impervious coverage of 80% is permitted and 88% impervious coverage is proposed. A total of 19 off-street parking spaces are required and 13 off-street parking spaces are provided, including 1 handicap space. The regulation parking spaces are 9 feet in width and 18 feet in length. A 24-foot parking aisle and 24-foot curb cut are proposed. East 16th Street is a 2-way directional street and Fulton Place is a 1-way street in an easterly direction. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. Surrounding land uses. This proposal is in the 10th Avenue section of the city. The area is a mixture of older buildings that are primarily either residential or light industrial uses. South of Fulton Place, on the west side of East 16th Street, there are several buildings operating as the Star Laundry Company. West of East 16th Street, the area is primarily multifamily residential. The city DPW yard and refurbished Putnam Oval are north of this proposal. There are very few examples of new buildings in the area, including remarks. The applicant estimates the approximate cost of this proposal at approximately $2,700,000. At a planning board meeting held on April 15, 2020, at 326-332 East 16th Street, a few blocks north of this proposal, an application was approved to construct a 3-story, 12-unit residential building on a lot now or formerly used for the parking of vehicles. The lot contains area of 9,163 square feet and is located on the western side of East 16th Street between King Street and Franklin Street. That's your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you. Mr. Rubin?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board. Our first witness in this application, Mr. Matt Evans, if he could be sworn, please.
Would you like me to do it?
Yes, please, please.
Okay, sure. Do you swear or affirm the information you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Yeah, Matthew Evans, architect, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
I assume Mr. Evans' qualifications are allowed, Madam Chair.
Yes, we accept him as an expert witness. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Evans, you have prepared the plan, you know the site, tell us what is involved.
Okay, can you see the plan I posted?
Yes, but it's very tiny.
Okay, I'll zoom in on some things here. Okay, so looking at the 200-foot radius map on the top left-hand corner of the plans we submitted, it shows the intersection of East 16th and Fulton Place. We have lots 16 and 17 hatched, and that is the property in question. You can see it's in the RA2 redevelopment zone. The existing conditions show the existing concrete block building, and there's yard in the back. All that improvements will be removed as part of this application. Going to the first floor, or the site plan showing the building. So what we're doing is we're putting a 4-story building at the intersection of Fulton and East 16th, replacing all the existing improvements. And we have landscaping, lighting along East 16th and Fulton Place. We also have decorative street cherry trees.
I have no audio.
Along the,
Okay, I don't know whose the microphone is on. I'm gonna ask once again to please turn off all the microphones. If you're not speaking, turn them off, please.
okay. So going to the side along East 16th Street, we have,
Let me save you.
Before you go any further, Matt, and I'm sorry, because this is very, very disturbing to me. Someone has their microphone on. I'd like to know who it is, because you can't.
It is me. I'm trying to work.
Oh, it's like, yeah, because she's trying to take notes.
I will not do this again. When you're done with testimony, I will return.
Okay, thank you.
okay, so we have a curb cut along East 16th Street at the midpoint of the building, and the main entrance for the tenants is on Fulton Place, and those would be the two main entrances to the structure. We show additional site details on sheet S1. Going to sheet S2, we show additional site details, lighting, handicap details, utility details, and also we show the utility connections for our proposed structure with the storm drainage, sewer, water, and gas, etc. Going to the plan on sheet A1, so we show it's an irregularly shaped lot, so it was a challenge to provide parking, but we've got 13 parking spaces in the garage below. We have bicycle storage, utilities. We have a large entry lobby for tenants and guests on Fulton Place. And then we have a refuse and recycling area, which has a door off of East 16th Street. The second through fourth floor plans are identical. We have a mix of studio, 1 and 2 bedrooms. They all meet the minimum criteria for the unit area. So they're large units, and they all have their own utilities. They also have laundry facilities within it, open living kitchen areas, and the circulation is basically from Fulton back, one long corridor that accesses all the apartments, and then the second fire stair to
Matt,
the rear.
can you do me a favor and is there any way you can
Zoom in?
enlarge this a little bit? Yes.
So, all right. Okay, let me look. Going to the second floor, so you can see the hatched area for the 1 bedroom unit. So we have the open kitchen, dining, and living area with mechanical, laundry. We have handicap bathrooms and an elevator for all the floors. So that would meet the criteria for of 600 square feet for a one bedroom. Then we have the two bedroom unit, 989, which meets the 900 square foot. And we have large bedroom with a large walk-in closet, handicap bath, and laundry mechanical. And then unit 203 to 403, we have a one bedroom, 691, similar to the others. And we have a studio unit, which is a large open studio, which is almost the size of a one bedroom, but it's a large studio. And then we have the other studio is a little smaller, but it's still large, unit 205 to 405. And then we have a one bedroom unit in the rear, and that's 655 square feet. So as I said, we has a large open kitchen living area, and then the fire stair to the rear. Going to the roof, we have a amenity space, large terrace with amenity space of 2757 square feet, and the stair 1 and 2 bring you up to that space. And going back to the next floor one, so you're looking at the East 16th Street elevation. We have that overhead door for the garage entrance, and then we have a mix of materials of two-tone stucco panels, brick, large architectural cornices, and we have grill work for the garage ventilation, and then we have a door for the refuse that you can see on the corner. Then Fulton Place elevation, we have also a mix of materials with longboard aluminum cherry siding. We have brick, stucco, and a large tempered glass storefront entry for the apartments on Fulton Place. Going to the right side elevation, we show basically would be the opposite of East 16th Street, showing the car parking below, which is open. And then we have the utility connections showing the electrical and gas service that would connect onto Fulton. And then the rear elevation, which shows the open parking and the upper floor windows and the architectural details on the roof. I also have a rendering. See if I can share that. Can you see that? Can you see
Yes.
the rendering? Oh,
Yes.
Okay, so this is basically the intersection of Fulton. Unfortunately, the tree in front hides the entry of the building, but we have a large entry for the apartments. Then we have stucco and brick, and also a large architectural cornice. And we've also undulated the upper floors to give some more curb appeal and street aesthetic to the corner of East 16th and Fulton Place. So that's the rendering showing how the massing of the building would be on the in the neighborhood. And then you could see down East 16th as you go towards 10th Avenue, you can see the yard on the left, and then it goes down. But as Mr. Deutsch said, there's not much new development in this area. This would be one of the new apartments or new construction that we're proposing at this intersection.
Mr. Rubin, you're muted. Unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Evans, as we've had in other matters, can you just please review the safety features on the rooftop amenity, in that this is a really important issue that we want on the record?
Mr. Rubin, you're muted. Unmute yourself, please.
Can you just please review the safety features on the rooftop amenity, in that this is a really important issue that we want on the record?
Okay, so we have going to the, rooftop, we have full height or full, code compliant perimeter, wall around the rooftop terrace amenity area. That would meet, the code is, 3'6", we have a 4-foot high wall, so it's a little higher, gives you a little more privacy up there too. That would be, one of the safety features. Another thing I'd like to mention is that we have improved drainage for this site. So as you can see now, it's all 100% impervious coverage. What we're doing is we're adding some greenery around the perimeter of the building, and also a new storm system which would capture that roof water and not allow any sheet flow of water onto East 16th or Fulton Place. So that improved drainage would be a positive safety feature also for the site.
One last issue, which we should make part of the record, because in the event that a resolution is prepared by council, the subject of this application does say not only a Fulton Place address, but a Lawrence Place address. We really do not adjoin or face Lawrence Place, do we not?
No, this is, you can see, we're looking at the tax map, we have lot 16 and 17. I believe at one time lot 1 was part of this parcel, and there may have been a subdivision between 1 and 17. So there's some old records that reference Lawrence Place, but there's no connection to Lawrence Place on this site.
All right, so that it is clear, even though the application states Lawrence Place, we are not abutting Lawrence Place.
Right.
We're only abutting Fulton Place as the entrance.
Yeah, East 16th and Fulton.
East 16th and Fulton. Just so it is clear, because in the event that a resolution is prepared, someone may look at that address and say, oh, where are we?
Yeah, understood, Mr. Rubin. I hear where you're coming from, and I'll note the resolution as such.
Good. Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you.
Resolutions are sometimes even read by others.
That's a rarity.
Yes. That's the only questions I would have, Madam Chair, if the board has any.
My question to you is, how many people do you have this evening that are giving testimony?
George Williams would be the only other witness, but in the event a owner's representative is required, there
I
is
see, Mr. Reed.
representative just waiting in the wings.
Okay, all right, so I'm gonna ask you to bring forward, Mr. Williams, please.
If Mr. Williams could please be sworn. And if Maggie isn't here, perhaps council could do it.
I'm
Oh,
here.
definitely. No, well, I'm gonna have the stenographer, Ashley, go
Oh,
on.
Ashley can do it?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Ashley.
Do you swear or affirm the information you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I most certainly do.
Thank you.
Okay, state your name and, just state your name for the record. We accept you as an expert witness, but please put it on record.
Commissioners, good evening. It's George Weedle Williams.
Mr. Weedle, Williams, before you begin, does anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Mr. Reed, do you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, we can all hear you now.
I'm in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
You can begin.
Okay, so Mr. Williams, just state your name and your firm for the record, please.
Yes. Good. Again, good evening, Commissioners. My name is George Weedle Williams, representing the Nishwayne Group in Montclair, New Jersey, 105 Grove Street, Suite number 3.
And
thank
just
you.
to reiterate, his qualifications are elected board.
Yes, we accept him as an expert witness, thank you. And everybody else, please turn the microphones off. And Mr. Williams, you may begin, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just as a point of order, I didn't know if you wanted to call questions prior to my beginning, or if you want me to start and do questions afterwards for the public.
Well, one,
Before you begin, does anyone hear me now?
We all hear you, Maggie, thank you.
No,
Okay,
I
so-
have to really, I just have to do this because I just got back on, I think it's working.
Okay, but we do hear you, we hear you.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Mr.
Okay,
Williams.
George, could you please advise the board as to the parameters of the planning, issues in this application?
Yes, please
Yes.
do that, thank you.
Yes, certainly. This is an application, as you've heard from both Mr. Deutsch and from Matt Evans, for a infill development in the Fourth Ward redevelopment area. And what I would just preface my comments by saying that this is an area that is definitely in need of redevelopment and rehabilitation. And I'll use an exhibit to kind of walk this board through what the surrounding conditions are and certainly the existing conditions of the site, which includes a non-permitted commercial use that's in a derelict condition. For the record, again, this project is for 285-287 Fulton Place. I'll leave off the second part. Block number 3206, lot numbers 16 and 17 only, not lot number 1. Again, it's in the RA2 zone district of the Fourth Ward redevelopment area, and the proposal is for a 4-story multifamily construction with 18 dwelling units and 13 parking spaces provided on site, as well as bike storage and a rooftop amenity that we're very, very proud of. The reliefs being sought, I would just summarize by saying we agree with the recitation of reliefs provided by your board planner, Mr. Deutsch, and they are relatively minimal, but I will address each of them in terms of the variances. From a very general perspective, planning perspective, in my professional opinion as a planner, the proposed application would advance the goals and objectives of the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan, as well as those of Paterson's master plan. Just as a simple reminder, as this board knows, the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan found that the Fourth Ward has been plagued with issues of neglect and abandonment for decades. There's still a great need for revitalization in the area, according to your master plan, which I believe is a 2014 master plan. And in that context, the proposed development would address those conditions of blight, or what's now termed in need of redevelopment. Finally, as mentioned in your board planner's report, Mr. Deutsch captured that a similar development was approved by this board in the vicinity of this matter. With that, I'd like to just share a brief exhibit, and this is just to give context for the final part of my testimony for the proofs. Bear with me 1 second. While the exhibit is loading for council and commissioners, this is a kind of standard exhibit that my firm uses. It's a storybook format exhibit with a number of images, some of which are taken directly from the Paterson land use documents, and others were captured during my visit, my team's visit to the site, and just designed to give context for my testimony.
Mr. Williams, if I could just interrupt you a second. Madam Chair, that booklet was circulated. It does not have to be marked as an exhibit. It was circulated internally. It is part of the record. Mr. Williams, I don't know if I would classify that as a storybook, but go ahead.
I'll come up with a new name.
We all received this, definitely, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners, Madam Chair. The first slide, slide number 2, is just an aerial photograph of the site, which is highlighted in yellow and surrounding area. It's informative in part because if you just look at the rooftops across the street on East 16th, you can see these are the light industrial laundry facility. I don't know if you can see my cursor floating above it. To the north of that is the DPW garage, all of which are also in the same zone district, just to give you a sense of the character of this particular portion of the Fourth Ward redevelopment area. And then to the south of our site is the other another lot owned by the laundry facility, again, also in the same zone district, but not residential, obviously. There are few more non-conforming uses in the area, like a garage here, and that just again rounds out the character of this neighborhood. In accordance with the redevelopment plan, I would just submit that the proposed infill development with the urban lifestyle living, rooftop amenity, bicycle storage, etc., should be, if approved, a catalyst for further investment in this area, which has a hodgepodge of non-conforming land uses. Slide number 3, just a foundation layer, a section taken from the redevelopment plan's zoning district, showing our property in the taupe color, irregular shaped lot, but definitely in the RA2 district. And you can see that we are not far removed from the general commercial district, which may explain some of the leftover commercial uses on our side of the border. Slide number 4, just zooming in on the existing conditions. You can see some of the structures and build out explained in Mr. Evans' testimony. I thought it was helpful to hear Mr. Evans speak about the fact that the current build out includes 100% impervious coverage. If approved, our application would reduce that impervious coverage. We'll still need a variance, but the good thing, you'll hear me mention this in my proofs, is that the drainage on this site would be improved markedly. Just going a bit further, faster through the slide number 5, just picks up 289 Fulton Place. Slide number 6 captures the garage and some of the other commercial or light industrial uses I mentioned in my introductory comments. Slide number 7 captures one of the few residential, low-density residential developments on a corner lot in the area. This is 395 East 16th Street. With that, Commissioners, I'll move to the proofs. As this board knows, for the approval of the site plan and site plan application, there are 2 contexts for release. The first is the traditional C1 context, and that's where there is a demonstrated hardship. That hardship is typically size, unique size or shape of the property, topography, or structures located thereon. The other context is a C2 or flexible C context, and that allows the board to consider whether, on the whole, what's being proposed is a better zoning alternative than a strict application of your code, and if the benefits outweigh the detriments. In my opinion, having reviewed the site plan and site plan application, I would submit to the board that C2 is perhaps the best context, notwithstanding the fact that this is an irregularly shaped lot. The C variances, again, are the rear yard setback, the height in terms of stories, and I'll just parenthetically add that we meet the height standards in terms of feet, but not stories, building coverage, and impervious coverage. In terms of the positive criteria, I would submit that if the board were to approve this application, it would advance several purposes of zoning, subsection A and subsection I in particular. Subsection A is to permit appropriate uses in appropriate zone districts to increase the public health, safety, and welfare. Anytime, Commissioners, conditions of blight are removed, conditions of abandonment, blight, vacancies, or vacant properties, that inherently benefits the health, safety, and welfare of the community, and that, of course, is the intent and purpose of the redevelopment plan. Subsection I, as you know, is to create a positive visual environment and evidence good civic design. I would submit to the board both would be advanced if you were to approve our application. Certainly the visual environment, given the existing site condition and surrounding land uses and conditions, what's being proposed as infill urban lifestyle housing would vastly improve the aesthetics of this area and the site. Further, good civic design has been evidenced by Matt Evans, our design professional, both in terms of the use of materials, fenestration, and particularly one of my favorites, and I'm sure sorry, one of our commissioners is now present, who shares my affinity for rooftop amenities, Matt's inclusion of the rooftop amenity in this area, all of which are good civic design. And last but not least, the inclusion of parking on the site. While we do require a parking variance, I would submit to the board that there are sufficient proofs for that variance, but more importantly, Matt's approach to designing the site so that we can provide an adequate supply of parking advances subsections I's requirement for good civic design.
Mr. Williams, if I can, in your professional opinion, can this building be constructed without the board approving these several bulk variances that we have requested? Do we need them?
We do need the variances, and under the Pullen Court case, as this board's heard me refer to in the past, the board may look at the overall benefit of the development as a whole, and in that context, if you agree that the minor deviations from your bulk and area standards achieve the desired result of this development on this site in the Fourth Ward redevelopment area, you can comfortably grant the reliefs that are being sought. Mr. Rubin, I would just add one more thing, and that is, in my opinion, having reviewed the application and plans, there's certainly no detriment to the public good or impairment to the zone plan. I would argue that if the board approves each of the reliefs from the bulk and area standards, there would only be benefits, not just to the developer, but to the community as a whole.
Thank you. Those are the questions I would have, Madam Chair.
Mr. Rubin, I would just add one quick thing, and that's for the parking relief. In my opinion, the parking relief, similar to the bulk and area deviations, can comfortably be granted in large part because our site will probably provide more parking than many of the surrounding residential properties or commercial properties. And that we have the added benefit of the empirical data and experience from this developer who has done a lot of development in the Fourth Ward redevelopment area. In particular, there is a court case, Valenti v. Seekin, that suggests that when the board is persuaded that the proposed parking is actually a more realistic parking supply than what's required in the code, the board can approve the variance, and I would submit that is the case for this application. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, however you want to proceed, I've been made aware of that there are two objectors.
Yep.
I don't know how to be honest, I don't know how to get them in.
I will do this, hold on one second. First of all, I'm gonna open it up to the public first while we're doing this.
Chairwoman, do what you need to. If you need my help, I will.
I do need your help.
As soon as you're done, I will give it a minute and then I will let you put them on. And then if anyone else calls, you'll take over that as well.
Right, so I'm gonna open it up to the public first, so if there's anyone in the public who would like to call in and has any questions of the two witnesses that we just heard from, which would be the planner and the architect, the phone number here is 973-321-1579. The meeting ID is 711-680-001. I'm going to allow 2 minutes for any call-ins and 3 minutes for your questions. And while I'm saying that, I understand, can you take your plans down, Mr. Williams? Okay, take them
Yes,
down.
I'll do that right now.
Okay, thank you. And then, Madam
I
Secretary,
appreciate that.
please, give me the first caller as soon as you can.
I will do that right now. Chairwoman Northrop, give me 10 seconds to figure out which name I'm going to go with first.
But I still
No.
see plans up there from Mr.
I
Williams.
know. It's okay, give me a minute. The first person, I'd like to call Camille Easton. If you hear me on your cell phone, shut your television off because it will interfere. Hit *6 on your phone to unmute yourself. Do you hear me, Miss Camille? Miss Easton?
Yes.
Thank you. The chairwoman will take over now, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Easton, would you please, say your name and your address for the reporting, the court stenographer, please.
My name is Camille Easton. That's Camille. Last name Easton, Easton. I'm calling on behalf of George and Rhonda Thompson. Rhonda Thompson is my sister, and we reside at 287 Lawrence Place.
287 Lawrence Place. Okay, I believe Mr. Acquaviva has something to say. Our attorney, go ahead.
Madam Chair, Ms. Easton can testify and offer testimony on her own behalf. She cannot testify on anyone else's behalf. If those individuals want to testify, they're welcome to call in. But Ms. Easton can only testify on her own behalf.
That's fine. Hello?
Yes, so are you going to be testifying on your behalf?
Yes,
Or
I
are the
am.
other two folks going to be calling in?
I will try to reach them, but I am definitely testifying on my own behalf.
Ms. Easton,
So
can we have your, I'm sorry, Ms. Easton, can we have your address, please?
287 Lawrence Place.
Great, thank you. Madam Chair,
Yes.
you can proceed.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Ms. Easton. Your question, please?
My question is, the gentleman that first spoke said that it will have no effect to Lawrence Place at all. Am I correct when I hear that?
That would be Mr. Evans, the architect.
Yes, there was a question about the property, connecting to Lawrence Place. It's not, the corner property, the corner house that's on Lawrence and East 16th would remain. It's not part of our development, so it's not going to negatively impact that area.
Okay, and my only other concern is that you're going to have 13 parking spaces for 18 apartments. Parking around here is horrendous. Okay, they just built another apartment building on East 18th Street around the corner. The houses on Lawrence Place were originally all two-family houses. Now they are all 4- and 5-family houses. The parking it will be just horrible. And you answered all my questions about the sewer system and whatnot, because that was another concern of mine. But my main concern at this point.
Okay, well, we'll take your comments, under consideration. We appreciate your comments on this application. Do you have anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, Madam Secretary, can we have the second caller, please?
Yes. Miss Easton, would you please *6 your phone to unmute yourself so I don't have any interruptions?
Thank you.
Thank you. We will call you at the end of the meeting in case you wanna make your last statements. But right now I have Trinace Brown. Do you hear me, ma'am? Trinace Brown?
Can you hear me now?
I
Yes,
hear
can
you.
you hear
How
me?
are you?
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. I will handle this, send the meeting over to Chairwoman Northrup. Thank you.
Yes, so
Okay,
Ms. Brown, please, state your name and your address for the record.
Yes, my name is Trinice Brown. It's spelled Terneice. Last name Brown. The address is 476 East 18th Street, Paterson, New Jersey, 07514.
Okay. All right, Ms. Brown.
All right, I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
And my first one is to the attorney, Rubin. I
Yes,
would like
Mr.
to know how
Rubin.
many.
Excuse me, I'd like to just go through this since our court reporter's not here. You have to speak clearly, let the chairwoman guide you so that nobody talks over each other. So wait till she asks you a question so our court reporter can take your full testimony. Thank you.
Okay, so Ms.
All right, I
Brown has,
apologize.
that's okay. Ms. Brown, you have a question for our attorney, Mr. Rubin. Go ahead, please.
Yes. First, I would like to know how many certified letters were sent out.
I have,
Mr. Rubin, yeah, Ms.
I
Brown.
do have that information here.
Okay, Mr. Rubin, before you give that information, Ms. Brown, I just wanted to, this is Alfred Aquaviva, I'm the attorney for the board. All of the certified letters that were sent out to the interested neighbors, and that is, those within 200 feet of the property, were actually certified by the board as being sent out.
Mm-hmm.
And, what we call satisfying the statute, which is basically what was required. So,
And what was
you had an
required?
opportunity, you did have an opportunity to question that. Mr. Rubin can confirm that, but all of that was reviewed prior to the meeting. If the board administration did not believe that that complied with the statute, we would not have had this meeting tonight. So, Mr. Rubin, if you have that information, you're certainly
I
welcome to provide it.
actually, as the board secretary, can answer that question. Cause, as you
Well, I
well
could-
know,
I can certainly, say, because I have the receipt, I spent,
Okay, let Mr. Rubin answer the question for now, please. Please, let's just get through the questions and the answers. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Rubin. What do you have?
my post office receipt, which I have in my hand, which is all of these.
Okay,
We spent $324.72 on certified mails, for all of the neighbors for 200 feet, from the subject property.
okay,
We hit them all. We hit everyone.
okay. Ms. Brown, please continue. What is your next question?
No, that didn't answer the question, but I see they finagle that because two of my neighbors did not get it. So that's
72.
why I'm asking questions.
There were, I see, I'm sorry, ma'am,
One thing at a time.
it's 72 notices we sent out.
if I may intervene here, because this to me is, what I do. I do see the address that you stated, Ms. Brown. Are you the owner of the building? Yes, you
Yes, I
are.
am.
Yes, you are. And you
Yes.
were notified. I see it on, Mr. Rubin's paperwork. The other people are not here to testify.
Oh, I did not because I went to the neighbors in the neighborhood to ask did they get it. And the
Well,
one
I
that
will
said
go
no,
into deal.
said no.
If I may,
Right.
as the secretary, I can testify that, yes, Mr. Rubin did notify you. It is only you that is of concern at the moment. The other tenants, I could put on record as well with, the chairwoman's, how do I say this? She has to approve it, but we can't speak for anyone else. I could only speak that you did get that letter delivered to you, certified registered mail.
I'm gonna defer, excuse me, I'm gonna defer right now to our attorney, Mr. Aquaviva. Please, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Brown, let me explain the process to you, okay? When the applicant,
I'm not worried about the process. I just need to know how many people.
the process has to be.
Wait, Ms. Brown, Ms. Brown, one person at a
process has
time,
to be-
because we're taking the record, the stenographer can only hear one person at a time. So you must let our attorney answer the question, please. Then you can say what you have to say. Go ahead, Mr. Aquaviva.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm gonna explain the process to you, whether you wanna hear it or not, okay? This is the process. When the applicant files an application, they pull a list from the tax assessor's office of all the property owners within 200 feet of the residence, of the property that is the subject of the application. That list is approved, and then it's the applicant's obligation to send all those notices out. Those notices are then sent out. Proof of the return receipts as well as an affidavit are provided to the board administration. They are reviewed, and in this case, it was approved. Now, many times, there are people who believe they should have been noticed, but they're just outside of the 200 feet mark. Now, from what I'm hearing from our secretary, you are actually in fact noticed. Now, if you're saying you weren't, we can't answer that. Mr. Rubin has provided proof that you were in fact noticed. If you're raising issues from other people who might have not been noticed, you don't have standing to do that. If they wanted to call in and voice those concerns, concerns, they're certainly welcome to do that. I hope that explains it to you, but I'm sure whatever other questions you have, we would be happy to answer.
Yes, so, next question, please?
What was,
Okay, I mean, I didn't know if I was allowed to give them the information if they did not receive it.
what was your address
You know,
again?
I did get mine, that's why I'm calling. All right, let's get to the next question.
Okay, give me your
Excuse me,
address.
one moment, Ms. Brown. Okay, Mr. Rubin is asking you to repeat your address again for him, please.
476 East 18th Street. I signed it Saturday.
She is not denying that she received the notification, everyone. She received it, she's concerned that her neighbors didn't get it. But we can't do anything about the neighbors at this point, so I'm gonna move on to the next question, please.
Because we did send
Okay,
it.
we are. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, East 16th Street. I went through there today. It says no parking. So tell me where all these people are gonna park at.
That would be a question for the planner.
Sure,
We're
sir.
gonna have an owner's representative who probably knows the Fourth Ward better than any person, of all in the development team, and perhaps he can add the best of the parking dynamics.
Are you talking about Mr. Reed?
Mr. Reed, and he is on the call.
Okay, Mr. Reed, okay, please, be sworn in. Swear, Mr. Reed, please.
Do you swear or affirm the information you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And, Mr. Reed, you know the Fourth Ward, you know the dynamics, you know the housing, and you've been involved nearly your whole life in that area, correct?
Actually, that is, say J Street is my area, that's what I was.
Mr. Reed, if I could just interrupt a second, just state your relationship to the applicant, please.
Oh, Andy Reed, Andy Reed, Director of Development, Paterson Falls Realty. Okay, yes, Mr. Rubin, and in particular, that East 18th Street is my area, that's where I was born and raised and ran through those neighborhoods. As Mr. Evans and our planner stated about our property and our parking and our off-street parking, if you listen to the question, I understand what Mrs. Brown is saying, and if you listen to the comment that Ms. Easton stated, she said apparently Lawrence Place, somehow two families became 4 units or 5 units, whatever. So I'm taking what she's saying is basically their illegal dwellings, and that may be the case of what's going on Lawrence Street. So I think their issue is more or less like some residents doing illegal occupancy. So I don't think that should have, someone doing some illegal should have any bearing on our project. Our sites are well maintained. We provide alternatives for what I believe is sufficient parking. Not every one of our residents have cars. A lot of them do. A lot of them use ride shares or public transportation, which in this case runs along Madison Ave to the east and Rosa Parks Boulevard, a block away on west. I believe that we have adequate parking for our 18 units. We're actually even though East 16th Street has no parking, but we're actually Fulton Place, which next door, 2 doors away from our project, there's a mechanic garage there that only works on vehicles for the Lakeland Dairy Company, which is in Hawthorne, but they do a little off-site mechanical work, and they don't have vehicles out there on the street, they be inside their garage. Other than that, you have the Star Laundry across the street there, which their employees usually bang up like around 5 or 6 in the evening. So in the evening time, that little strip there on Fulton between East 18th and East 16th Street, it's not that many cars on that block. Actually, it's only like 2 or 3 houses. The rest of the houses are on East 18th Street, and they may have a side entrance off of Fulton. But other than that, there's only 2 other houses that's actually directly on Fulton Place. So, like, Fulton is not a congested block. I understand what they're saying. In particular, Ms. Easton saying about Lawrence, if people are, have illegal occupancies, which may create a parking issue with them over on Lawrence. But I don't believe we will have any spillage, especially going over to Lawrence Street.
Ms. Brown, did that answer your question? Because I'd like to move on to the next question. And,
Okay, the next, yeah. I mean, I live there, that's why I know what it's like, so that, nobody can't tell
okay,
me
okay, but
about
that's his answer. Right, but you
Okay.
asked some
I
questions
mean,
and
that's
that's
his
his
answer,
answer.
it's okay. Now I know who he is, I'll talk to him later, I have his number. Okay, now you're gonna build 18 units, and there's 2 people in each unit, that's 36 people. If they all have cars, and you only put in parking spaces for 13, where do the other 23 go?
If that's a question to me, I mean, basically, that's just a configuration that you make up in your head, assuming that every apartment have 2 people, each person's gonna have a vehicle. I mean, I'm saying the opposite, that is not the case.
Well,
And
then
you
why
need to
are
allow
you
planner-
doing this now?
Excuse
I
me,
mean,
ma'am?
I'm just being honest. At night when I come home, I have to ride around at least 5 times and park 2 blocks away from my house. I'm already being inconvenient. I don't need to be more inconvenient. That's what I'm saying. I ain't nothing about this business. I don't.
Okay, Ms.
And
Brown?
just that I'm already inconvenient. Okay.
I know you may not like some of the answers, but you asked me the question and the answer stands as is. And I have to start running it down because every person gets approximately 3 minutes and we're well over that.
All right,
So
I'm sorry.
That's okay, don't apologize, it's okay, but just like we need to wind it down, that's all.
Okay.
Next
You
question?
know, it could back off from, sorry. Okay.
Okay, I hear other people in the background asking you questions, I'm gonna have to move on, Ms. Brown.
All right, you can move on because no one's gonna answer the question, so it's
Well, I
gonna
think
go around
everyone
and around
is
in
answering,
circles.
everyone, they're not the answers you
No,
wanna
but
hear.
they don't understand because they don't live there. When you
Well-
live somewhere, why don't you go somewhere else like Clifton per se? Go somewhere else and give us a break. It's just too many people and cars and nowhere to park. That's what I'm saying. Nobody is saying he can't build, but do it somewhere else. That's all I'm saying. Nobody lives here
People
but
are
us.
investing in the city of Paterson and that's a good thing, but we're gonna move on
Yeah,
from
but-
here. We're
All
gonna
right, go ahead,
move on,
so
Ms.
like I
Brown,
said-
I'm sorry
Go
that's
ahead.
not the answers you wanna hear, but I'm sorry. Alright, Ms. Vega, do we have anything else? Do we have anybody else on the line?
I'd rather you proceed with the commissioners so I can get more info from IT.
Okay,
So you may proceed.
commissioners, let's move forward. Questions, of our, architect and of the planner? Commissioners,
Yes, Chairwoman, this is,
Yes. yes, go ahead.
My question is thank you, Mr. Rubin. You answered one of my questions about the main address for the location. It's on Fulton Place, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Williams, can you put up the picture of the, property that is gonna be torn down and rebuilt? I'm trying to wrap my head around where it actually is.
Certainly, loading now. Excuse me. The Commissioner, this is the aerial view, probably the best way to get the context. This is where my cursor is, Fulton Place, and this
I
corner,
can see your cursor.
you can or cannot.
I cannot see your cursor, but I can see the yellow, shading.
That's it, right there.
Yeah.
Okay,
And so to the left of the yellow highlighting is the DPW garage and the industrial laundromat that everybody else has referred to. Below the yellow highlighting is another lot owned by the laundromat.
so this property is on the same side of the street that the DPW is?
It's across the street.
It's across the street?
Yes.
Okay,
So if you look at the yellow shaded property, to the left of it, there's a brown rooftop. That's the DPW garage.
okay. Now I'm getting where it is, okay.
And just to add on to that, so Mr. Reed referred to proximity to mass transportation. We are next to several bus lines that run along Broadway and I'm drawing a blank on the other street, Rose and Lawrence. Yeah, so there's at least 3 or 4 bus lines in that area, which is what helps us with those studio apartments that typically don't have cars.
So
And this, Commissioner, please, if I may add, if you're familiar with the old Center Auto Body that caught on fire, and it doesn't have a roof now, and have a couple walls standing, and the guy used to have the mail delivery trucks. You see those walls there? And that's the Center Auto Body that caught fire a few years ago. And so the guy had the U.S. mail trucks there they was storing there. So that's the site that's gonna be demolished. The house on the corner of Lawrence, the yard there, and Lawrence and Fulton, that's not being touched, that's not our property.
is the railroad tracks behind this location or in front of it?
The railroad tracks is on the other side of Putnam Oval. And the,
It's on the other side of the foot.
So, yes,
Okay.
this right here is, on East 16th Street, and to the right, down the screen there, that's East 18th Street. The white building, to the cross street, that's the Star Laundry, and then the brown roof, that's the DPW yard. And obviously you see the railroads running behind there.
Okay, I got you. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Cleaves. Any other commissioners, any questions for either of these witnesses? Okay, no. Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay, I'm gonna go with, Madam Secretary. Do you have any other callers on the line?
I'm sure she indicated.
I'm here, we do not have any callers at this time. I'm
Okay, good.
looking at 2 others, but they're not there.
Okay,
You can proceed, Madam Chair, all my
Okay, thank you.
apologies.
okay, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Rubin, would you like to summarize, please?
Yes, this is an application in the Fourth Ward redevelopment area. This is what the municipal council of the city of Paterson has mandated, for this area to be redeveloped. And we are doing exactly what the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan and the master plan of the city of Paterson has ordained, for this area. And, yes, we are building here, and most respectfully, we are in accord with all of the laws and the land use policy of the city of Paterson, and respectfully ask this application be approved so we can move forward with this site. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application? Commissioners? Okay, on the application, I will make it. On the application of the Paterson Falls Realty Group LLC, 285-287 Fulton Place and 270-272 Lawrence Place, Block 3206, Lot 16 and 17. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting site plan approval and bulk variances. I don't believe there was any other stipulations, Mr. Acquaviva?
I did not hear any, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
A second by Commissioner Lorenzo. Roll call, please.
Commissioners, Commissioner Cleaves,
Yes.
Commissioner Liranzo,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Amar.
Yes.
And before I do anything else, I'd like to put on the record that Amar has 2 M's, am I correct?
Two what, I'm sorry?
Ammar.
Yes, 2 M's.
Thank you. Commissioner Roman is absent, Commissioner Figueroa is absent, Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes.
We have 5 votes in the affirmative. This application has been granted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Members of the board.
Thank you. Okay, give me one moment here. Okay, we have to close out this meeting, so I make a motion to close. We have to open the next meeting. Make a motion to close, do I have a second?
Aye.
Second by Commissioner Lorenzo, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next meeting. we have to start all over again, please. Stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
Okay, please, that's true.
Amen.
Amen is right, okay. Commissioners, Planning Board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as Chairwoman of the City of Paterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 3/30/22 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Paterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 3/18/22 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedures tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office in the municipal complex in the City of Paterson. Roll call, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. Commissioner Udine is absent. Commissioner Ahmed is absent. Commissioner Cleves present. Commissioner Fisher is absent. Commissioner Liranzo.
Present.
Commissioner Santana.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Amar.
Present.
Commissioner Roman is absent. Commissioner Figueroa is absent. Councilman Kalik is absent. And finally, Chairwoman Northrop.
Present.
She is present. Thank you very much. You have 5 commissioners in attendance.
Okay, so consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107, given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020 by Governor Philip D. Murphy, the Planning Board of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10:4-8 commencing on April 15, 2020. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the City Council Chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 155 Market Street, Paterson, New Jersey, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with said Executive Order Number 107, public participation will be available by calling 973-321-1579. The meeting ID is 711-680-001. The public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson at www.patersonnj.gov. If you didn't catch those numbers and the meeting ID, I will be repeating them later. And Mr. Rubin, are you representing this application? I'm not going to forget it this time.
Yes, for the record, I am Michael Rubin, 1330 Hamburg Turnpike, Wayne Township, New Jersey, and we represent JCM Investors 1012 LLC, located at 175 Broadway in the City of Paterson, and this is regarding 273-275 Governor Street, Lot 14, Block 3209 in the City of Paterson.
Thank you. So the applicant proposes to remove the existing 1.5-story frame dwelling on a lot having an area of 5,000 square feet and construct an 11-unit residential building consisting of 3 stories located on the northwest corner of Gelsma Place and Governor Street. The first floor will contain 8 parking spaces, a bike storage room, a refuge room, exterior placed electric and gas meters, 2 stairwells, and a one-bedroom unit. Both the second and third floors will contain 5 one-bedroom apartments on each floor for a total of 11 units. The rooftop proposes 2,088 square feet of recreation space, and variances are requested for a rear yard setback as a minimum of 20 feet is required and 5 feet is proposed. Lot building coverage as a maximum of 60% is permitted and 76% is proposed. Each of the one-bedroom units require one parking space for a total of 11 parking spaces. As 8 off-street parking spaces are proposed, a variance is requested. The proposal is within the RA-2 zone of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan, and it requires site plan approval and bulk variances. This is their first appearance, and I will ask Mr. Deutsch to give us his review this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Property taxes and sewer charges are paid to date. Persons having a 10% or greater ownership interest in JCM Investors 1012 LLC are Matthew Florio, providing an address of 175 Broadway, Paterson, New Jersey 07505. Lakeland Surveying has prepared a survey dated August 2nd, 2017. Survey indicates that the parcel is frontage 50 feet on Governor Street, additional frontage of 100 feet on Jelsma Place, and side and rear lot lines that also measure 50 feet and 100 feet each. The parcel's area of 5,000 square feet or 0.12% of an acre. The survey also indicates that the parcel contains a 1.5-story dwelling and a detached garage. Both structures are to be removed. A 2-story frame dwelling is located on the shared property line to the west, and a 2.5-story frame dwelling exists 6 feet from the shared western side property line. Evans Architect has prepared a 4-page plan dated June 12, 2021. Sheet number S1 is the site plan. The plan indicates details for the seepage pit section, lighting detail, water connection, concrete sidewalk detail, the tax map, zoning ordinance data, the proposed site plan, and notes. A note on the plan indicates that the entire site and site perimeter is to be equipped with video security throughout the public area and site lighting along the traveled public way and parking area. Surveillance cameras to connect to the City of Paterson Police Department system. The intent of the RA-2 district is to permit a more intensive residential use of land with various types of dwellings. Density is maintained in the medium range. The proposed site plan indicates that the building is to be constructed 3 feet from both the front property lines of Governor Street and Jelsma Place, and 5 feet from both the left side, west side property line and the rear yard property line. This proposal is located on the northwest corner of Governor Street and Jelsma Place. The site plan indicates that the front of the building is to face Governor Street, and that an access driveway serving the 8 first-floor parking spaces is proposed in Jelsma Place. A note on the plan indicates that garage lighting is provided throughout. Shrubbery and 6 cherry trees are to be placed along both Governor Street, Jelsma Place, and surrounding the building. A fence is proposed along the rear and side property lines. Lots with a width of 50 feet or greater prior to subdivision and/or development shall provide off-street parking. No off-street parking is required on existing lots that are less than 50 feet in width. As the building is frontage on Governor Street and a width of 50 feet, the applicant is required to provide off-street parking as per the redevelopment plan. Sheet number S2 is the soil erosion site plan details plan. The plan indicates stabilized construction access, sediment filter fence detail, the concrete sidewalk detail, the handicapped accessible parking stall detail, the sanitary sewer connection, and notes. Sheet number A2 is the architectural plan. First floor plan indicates an undimensioned access driveway that scales 23 feet, an undimensioned handicap space that scales 14 feet by 18 feet, 7 undimensioned parking spaces that scale The northern end of the building is another staircase accessible through the parking garage. On the exterior of the building's northern side, which is the building's rear yard, there are 3 exterior doors, one leading to an 82 square foot bicycle storage room, a second leading to a refuse room, and a third leading to the fire sprinkler room. On the rear exterior wall of the building, along the wall separating the interior staircase, the applicant proposed to place stacked electric meters and gas meters. The second and third floor plans are identical in layout. Each floor plan indicates 5 one-bedroom units of 604, 620, 624, 630, and 660 square feet, each with a kitchen, a full bathroom, laundry, a mechanical unit, and a living room and dining area. The roof plan indicates 12 mechanical units and a rooftop terrace of 2,088 square feet, which includes wood flooring, tree planters, tables, and seating. Sheet number SK2 are the architectural elevations. The Governor Street elevation indicates a tempered glass entry door, a two-tone, mostly brick finish with a stairwell finish in stucco, and a pylon molding with a copper topping. 7 casement windows are indicated. The Jelsma Place elevation indicates the access driveway and at-grade parking, a continuation of the two-tone brick finish and stucco finishes, casement windows on all floors, and a continuation of the pylon molding and copper topping. The left side elevation is the building's western side and indicates the ground floor parking and casement windows on the second and third floors surrounded by a stucco finish. The pylon roof molding and copper topping continues on this side of the building. The rear elevation indicates the 3 doors into the bike room, the sprinkler room, and the refuge room, casement windows on the second and third floors surrounded by a stucco finish and the pylon molding and copper topping. This is a flat roof building that has a top height of 42 feet. The applicant is proposing a minimum of 5 feet of sidewalk between the building and the curb lines of both Governor Street and Jelsma Place. The applicant requests variances for the following proposed conditions. Variances are requested for rear yard setback as a minimum of 20 feet is required and 5 feet is proposed. Lot building coverage as a maximum of 60% is permitted and 76% is proposed. Each of the one-bedroom units requires 1 parking space for a total of 11 parking spaces. As 8 off-street parking spaces are proposed, a variance is requested for 3 spaces. Mailbox placement shall be in the package room unless advised otherwise. Governor Street is a one-way street in a westerly direction. Jelsma Place is a 2-way north and south street. Shall be the responsibility of the applicant and/or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plan has been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. Surrounding land use. This proposal in the Wrigley Park section of the city within the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. West of the intersection of Governor Street and Jelsma Place, the area is well maintained with a majority of dwellings that are older, 2-family units, with most lacking off-street parking. To the south and east along Governor Street, to the intersection with the railroad tracks, a 1-story warehouse building is under construction on the northeast corner. The south side of Governor Street is mainly older, multi-family dwellings with the exception of the Greater Bethel Church. Concluding remarks. The applicant estimates the cost of this proposal at approximately $1,800,000. The applicant should incorporate the design elements contained within the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. At a planning board meeting held on November 15, 2021, an applicant was approved to construct a 3-story building with 5 2-bedroom units on the combined lots, having an area of 2,792 square feet with 4 off-street parking spaces at 266-268 Governor Street, Block 3502, lots 9 and 10. That is your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Mr. Deutsch. Mr. Rubin?
Yes, Mr. Evans will be our first witness. If he could be sworn by either
Yes. Ms. Vaughn?
counsel or someone.
Yes. Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, do you swear or affirm the information you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And
State your name and firm for the record.
Matthew Evans, architect, 470 Chamberlain Ave, Paterson, New Jersey.
And we accept him as an expert witness.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Please
Evans.
proceed.
Can you tell us, what is involved in this application? What are the architectural parameters?
Okay, basically, what Mr. Deutsch's report spelled out is basically the essence of what we're doing. We have, the first sheet is sheet S1, shows the site plan. We have the site location plan, zoning data. So going to the site location, which is the tax map, we show lot 14 at the intersection of Jelsma and Governor Street. And that would be developed for this purpose of doing this 11 units at the intersection. We have also the zoning ordinance data, which we show 3 variances, which is, we tried to make it as appropriate as possible for the area, limiting those variances. We show also the site plan, which shows Governor Street and Jelsma. It's a hybrid of the building, landscaping, lighting, and we have showing the parking underneath the garage area. So we have 8 parking spaces in that garage. That's accessed off Jelsma, which leaves the rest of Governor Street. And outside of the curb cut, there's all on-street parking around the perimeter of the site. Going to the next sheet, we have more just site details showing the utility connections on the site. And also going to sheet A2 is the architecturals. We have the first floor, second and third floor plan, and the roof plan with the amenities. We break down the apartments with the square footages, which all meet the minimum requirements or exceed it. Going to the main entrance at the intersection of Governor and Jelsma, we have the lobby, package and area and mail area. Then we have a handicap 1-bedroom unit, 632 square feet. Then we have the stair going up to the upper level apartments. We also have the 8 parking spaces below, one of those being a handicap spot. Then we have bike storage, refuse area, sprinkler room, and a fire stair, the second stair, which accesses out to Jelsma Place, with stacked electrical meters and gas meters on the exterior of the building. The second and third floor plans are identical layout with the different 1-bedroom units throughout the floor plan. And they all have their own utilities, laundry facilities, and large open kitchen and dining plan with the bedrooms, walk-in closets, and bathroom for each of the units. So along Jelsma, we bump out the some of these apartments to break up the facade, and we also have done that instead the entrance to give it a little bit more aesthetic appeal, trying to keep in context with the 4th Ward redevelopment plan, and then showing Governor Street elevation. We show a mix of materials. We have a canopy over the entry, and then we have brick, aluminum coping, and decorative 5-pound cornices, which are give it an architectural aesthetic appeal. Little curb appeal on Jelsma Place with those bay windows for the apartments. We also have large casement windows, which give a lot of light and air for all these units. And showing the other elevations, the rear is a little bit more simple, being that it's rear and the left side. And we also have the mechanical units and the amenity space would be tucked away from that parapet And as I mentioned in previous applications, we have a 4-foot high wall which would protect the residents and give them privacy at that upper level. One other thing I'd like to mention is what we're doing is we're providing all new storm systems, stormwater drainage, which would alleviate any stormwater runoff from the site that would all be collected on site and drained through the soil and not allow any new runoff onto the street of Jelsma or the neighbors or Governor Street. So that's in essence what we're proposing.
Madam Chair, members of the board, it should be noted that the structure on this property has been demolished. This is a vacant lot. There is no improvements on it today.
Okay, thank you. You have, Mr. Williams, is he gonna be testifying?
Yes, Mr. Williams is on the call.
And also Mr. Reed is on standby?
Yes, he is.
Okay, so Mr. Williams, Ms. Milan, can you please swear him in?
Yes. Do you swear or affirm the information you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I most certainly do.
Please state your name and firm, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening again. My name is George Guido Williams with the Nishwain Group, located at 105 Grove Street, Suite number 3 in Montclair.
And would you,
Mr. Williams' credentials are allowed.
yes,
Thank
we accept him as an expert witness, thank you. Please
Thank you,
proceed.
Madam Chair.
Williams, tell us what the planning parameters are of this application.
Yes, the planning parameters for this application, it's another residential development in the 4th Ward redevelopment area, specifically the RA2 district. You've heard the description of the project from Mr. Evans, so I won't go through that again. I'll also confirm that we concur with Mr. Deutsch's recitation of the release. There are fewer in this application. They are minimum rear yard, maximum building lot coverage, and minimum parking space requirement. Generally speaking, from a planning perspective, again, this application, if you were to approve it, would advance the goals and objectives of the 4th Ward redevelopment plan, which, as this board knows, is to redress conditions of blight, which include conditions of deteriorated structures, vacant land, tax arrearages, and other social and economic malaise. The intent of the redevelopment plan is specifically to incentivize development and investment like what you are seeing this evening before you. Again, another project designed by Matt Evans and his team to infill the 4th Ward with quality housing opportunities with urban lifestyle amenities. I have another exhibit just for context. I will be brief. It is loading now.
Again, Madam Chair, this was circulated prior to administratively, so it does not have to be marked as an exhibit.
Yes, we all received it, thank you.
Thank you. So launching right into the exhibit, the first slide, slide number 2, depicts the corner lot property, which is the subject of this hearing. It's highlighted in yellow, and you can see that this lot is a bit larger than some of the other lots in this graphic. Specifically, not only is it a corner lot, but it's a bit wider than most of the narrow rectangular lots along Governor Street. And I would add Harrison as well. Next slide, number 3, just depicts or verifies that this lot is indeed in the 4th Ward redevelopment area, the RA2 district. Again, across the street from the general commercial zone district on Jens Mall. Slide number 4 just reinforces what you just heard a moment ago, I believe, from council when he mentioned that the site is currently vacant and fenced. And this gives you a view of that subject site in its current condition. Slide number 5, and this may be the last one, if not there's one more, just shows some of the land development in the surrounding area. 276 Governor Street, and you can see some of the setbacks here is a multifamily, and directly to the right of it is another multifamily of similar scale to that which is being proposed. Neither of these properties have on-site parking to the best of my knowledge. Another view of the remainder of this section of Governor, just giving you a sense of the mix of housing typologies and lack of side yards and setbacks and parking, on-site parking. So with that, Commissioners, I would just go to the release. As you heard, there are a few relatively minor deviations from the strict application of your bulk and area standards. In that case, I would submit that the C2 context would be the most appropriate context in which to review those reliefs, or yes, those reliefs. Again, the deviation's relatively minor. For rear yard setback, lot coverage, for the lot coverage, I would just again mention this is a corner lot with proximity to the commercial district across the street. Typically with corner lots, and in the context of the commercial area, the lot coverage is not uncommon, at least the excess that we're proposing, as Matt Evans always does. He designs the site to accommodate for any water runoff through a drainage system. So the slight increase in lot coverage will not impact water runoff on this site. In terms of the proofs, if you were to grant the release for these relatively minor deviations from strict application of your code, the subsection A of the purposes of zoning would be advanced, and that is to permit appropriate uses in appropriate locations and to benefit the general.
On that block, it's not three family, it's like more than
Also, they made it look like three.
They would have looked like three, but they was like that.
Wow. That's crazy.
Loving units. So.
They made it look like
They
three.
made it look like three-story building, yeah, three-story building, but it's not.
And it sits
three.
further back.
It goes all the way back, there's no back years, no front steps.
So that goes back onto 12th
Probably
Avenue.
like 3-4 feet in the back.
That goes on to 12th Avenue. So there's probably a back entrance for
Yeah,
that
look at
side.
that, right here. Back here, yard setback, minimum 20 feet is required. 5 feet they'll leave. See, I told you 3 or 4 feet.
Zero differentiation, is fenestration, and again, in terms of civic design, being able to utilize this corner lot in a way that satisfies the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan. So in my opinion, you would advance those two subsections. Similarly, if you were to approve this application, you would advance the state's policy of smart growth development, which in fact encourages compact dense housing and more affordable neighborhoods, all of which would be achieved if you would grant this application, notwithstanding its deviation from those three bulk area standards. Overall, therefore, be my opinion that the benefits of the application far outweigh any detriment. In fact, as with the last application, if you were to approve this application, you would actually benefit not just the developer of the site, but the surrounding neighborhood by redressing the conditions of blight referred to in your redevelopment plan. That leaves a parking variance. In this case, there's a delta or a deviation of 3 parking spaces. Your master plan specifically references the need for the right sizing of parking on site. And I'll just read very quickly from the master plan, page 19. While insufficient off-street parking can be problematic, excessive off-street parking has its own negative consequences as well. Providing off-street parking can be expensive and even cost prohibitive for a developer, and it also uses space that could potentially be put to another use. Commissioners, in this case, while I'm not suggesting that the parking requirement is excessive in a general context, what I am suggesting is that the proposed parking is actually a better fit for this development based on the unit mix and the developer's experience with the real parking demand in this area, and therefore the program that's been provided by Matt Evans does put the property to its most efficient use by providing what is being proposed for on-site parking accommodation on this lot. Again, there's proximity to mass transportation, bike storage, and finally, the empirical data and experience that this applicant has with parking in the Fourth Ward redevelopment area supports the contention that the proposed parking is more than sufficient to meet the real parking demand for the tenancy that's being marketed here. So for those reasons, it's my professional opinion the board can comfortably approve both the deviations from the bulk and area standards and the parking relief, because what's being proposed is a better zoning alternative than a strict application of the code in the context of either C2 and or RSIS.
Mr. Williams, in your professional opinion, can the building be constructed as designed by Mr. Evans without the several bulk variances that are being proposed? Must we have the bulk variances?
Yes, the deviations from the standards, the bulk variances are required to deliver the kind of housing product that the applicant is proposing and designed by Matt Evans. Without them, and keep in mind the C2 allows for some trade-offs, allowing for a scenario where the benefits outweigh the detriments. In this case, those deviations would permit for the proposed development.
A better zoning alternative, as the cases say.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to open it up. I'm assuming that concludes your testimony, Mr. Williams.
Madam Chair, it does.
Okay, so, I'm going to open this up to the public. If anyone in the public has any questions of either one of these witnesses, the architect or the planner, please call in at 973-321-1579. The meeting ID is 711-680-001. I will allow 2 minutes for call-ins, 3 minutes for questions. Madam Secretary, do we have anybody on the line now?
Not at this time, but I am calling them. You may proceed with your meeting, and I will advise you if you have any callers.
Okay, good enough, thank you. Commissioners, any questions of either one of these witnesses?
Commissioner Cleaves,
Yes, Commissioner, please go ahead, please.
the slide that's still up, does that building also belong to this, applicant?
I'll let Mr. Reed or Mr. Evans answer that question with my answer. No.
Yeah, let's swear in Mr. Reed, please. Ms. Vaughn?
Yes, do you
Mr. Reed?
swear or affirm the information you give tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, please state your name for the record and what you do for JCM, please.
Andrew Reed, Director of Development for JCM.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay, so now that we have him sworn in, okay, who would be the best person to answer Commissioner Cleaves' question?
Probably Andy could do that.
Okay, Mr. Reed?
Yes, to give a definite answer, I'm not sure. I don't know if that property still belongs to us. We do have several properties in that area though.
Okay, because my question is, that's going to be across the street from this new edifice that's going up. Aesthetically, it's just my suggestion that they look similar. Because, sometimes riding around the city and as the new structures are going up, even though some of them are going up in, areas where there's like 2 family homes or 1 family home, they sit out like sore thumbs. So my suggestion is if it can blend into what's already existing there, I think they won't sit out so much as sore thumbs, the new edifices.
I promise you, Commissioner, if this application happens to get approved, it would probably look like a brother or sister to that building that you see right there.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
No problem.
And what, one
Mr.
more, one more,
Williams, the screen, please, the screen, Mr. Williams.
Commissioner, please say one more question for me or for Mr. Williams?
no, one more question for probably the architect. The new building that's going up, is it going to, height-wise, blend in like the one that we were just looking at? It's not gonna be higher than that, correct?
Correct. It's only going to be 3 stories, and it's going to have parking underneath. So it's really 2 stories of residential above the parking and other maintenance in a small apartment.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I was muted. Commissioner Alonso, you had a question?
It was about the screen that, Mr. Willow.
Oh, he can put the screen, back
it's,
up.
it's okay, it's good now.
Did it answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right, good. All right, so any other questions from any other commissioners? Okay, I'm hearing none. Madam Secretary, any callers?
No, we do not have at this time. You may proceed.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask.
Madam Chair, if I could make a comment?
Yes, yes.
I guess the primary concern from, Commissioner Cleaves was, in her, conversation, I should say, or colloquy with Mr. Reed, was that the building fit within the character of the neighborhood. I'm not sure how to do that, other than to make it a condition subjected to the review of Mr. Deutsch as to whether or not that, that suffices or not. So, Mr. Rubin, did you have a problem with that if I insert a condition similar to that language, with that language in the resolution?
That is a very subjective kind of condition in that, as we all know, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. We don't know.
I'm pretty sure our architect can give a description again of how exterior the building is gonna be. And maybe, I don't know if you have to render maybe the
So
show.
if we could put it, Commissioner Cleaves, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, if, I guess, Mr. Evans, if you could put on, or if you could explain how you can make this building, I guess, color-wise and, material-wise fit in with the character of the neighborhood, maybe that would suffice if we can get that on the record. Putting in a resolution might not actually work. So if we can get you to put that on the record, Commissioner Cleaves, you can listen to that and you're satisfied with it, we can then move on.
Okay, so basically what we do in many of these buildings, I wasn't able to get the rendering put up, but what it is going to be is there's going to be a mix of materials. So it's not just going to be one monolithic type of building. It's going to have breaks in the elevation. It's going to have different materials. We're going to have brick. We're going to have 2 different tones of colors of stucco. We're going to have vertical paneling, and then we're also going to have large architectural cornices, which would complement, let's say, a dark color that would complement the window frames, which would be also, we do a lot of black window frames and dark canopies, which are consistent with more of the modern buildings that we're doing today.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. Commissioner Cleaves, does that, I guess, satisfy your concerns with what you had indicated before?
And I think, excuse me, I'm just gonna interrupt you one moment. I believe that Commissioner Cleaves is looking for something that will blend in with the building she saw across the street, so it's not like a standout. Am I correct, Commissioner Cleaves?
Correct, because then, because this building will be on the corner, across the street from it is a church that looks like a clayish color. But I'm thinking that I don't wanna ride down Governor Street. that you would not do this, but I
assure you that this building will fit.
Those different textures, but it kind of blends in. Is this something, Mr. Reed, that can be done?
Yes, Commissioner, as I was stating, it will blend in with the building that you just saw, as well as, I'm pretty sure you might not be able to recall the approval we got previously at 266, Governor Street, and that building also will blend, so it's gonna be like three buildings that will look like they brothers and sisters to each other.
Okay, so,
thank you,
so
Chairwoman.
you're welcome. So, so Mr. Aquaviva, I'm losing my mind, I was gonna call you Commissioner Aquaviva. Mr. Aquaviva, okay, so can this be integrated into the resolution, or should it be integrated into a stipulation?
I mean, I could put a condition in there. Mr. Rubin, what I can do is, I'll insert a condition there to reflect what was just discussed as best as I can. I'll send it over to you for your review, and maybe between the two of us, we can propose something that would satisfy the commissioner's concerns and the applicants. How's that?
Right, and you have to also remember, there's a third party, the construction code official has to
Right.
add it to and understand what we're doing here this evening.
Yeah, but I think in hearing Commissioner Cleaves, I think it's a legitimate concern, but I think her concern is that it more fits in with the colors in the neighborhood. She doesn't want a bold color that would, stand out. So if I can fashion some sort of language as a condition that you're comfortable with, then maybe we can get this through as a resolution that can be acceptable. How's that?
There you go.
If I may, one thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna use, earth colors, earth tones. It's not gonna be any loud colors. It would be, I could share a similar project, briefly. Let me see if I can just show you something.
You don't have to.
With all due respect, Madam Chair, I'm a little confused. I need to write it all down.
Sorry.
Is there one way that maybe Aquaviva and him can get together and I can hear it and write it?
Well, they just did. They just did you that.
I know, I did, but I missed half of it. So, not even half, but.
If I can speak, please. Mr. Evans, you said something I was about to say. One of the ways that we addressed this in the past with similar applications was that we limited the colors to earth tones, brownish and black colors. And those were basically the tones that we used on the other buildings, and I used those use that language in resolutions. So what I'm gonna suggest, and again, this is not a condition unless a motion for approval is made with this condition. But assuming that this is a condition, I will fashion language in the resolution that I believe is acceptable. I'll send it over to Mr. Rubin as the applicant's attorney to review it. And if he's okay with it, I'm sure we could fashion something that would be acceptable on both parties. I would then submit it to Mr. Deutsch and our secretaries for approval. Is that acceptable, Mr. Rubin?
Yes, it is. Very good.
Okay, sounds like a plan to me. All right, great.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. So, if there's no other questions from the board, and I believe we satisfied Commissioner Cleaves' question, and we responded accordingly. At this time, then I'm going to ask if, Mr. Rubin, would you like to summarize?
Just that we have an application that fits squarely within the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan. We're doing what the municipal council of the city of Paterson has ordained, together with the master plan of the community in the Fourth Ward. And this is part of the redevelopment plan for the entire area and fits in nicely. And most respectfully, we ask
that the board approve this application in its entirety. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application? Commissioners? Somebody?
I'll make the motion, but I don't have the paper with me, so I will ask the secretary to do the reading.
Okay. I'm sure she'll be happy to respond.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary?
You're on mute.
Second, please.
There you go, we can hear you.
If you make me laugh. Okay, on the application of JCM Investors, 1012 LLC, 273, 275 Governor Street, block 320914. Commissioner and Council moves that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting, hold on. Site plan and bulk variances to remove the existing 1.5-story frame building and construct 11-unit residential building of 3 stories located on the northwest corner of Jelsel Place and Governor Street. This building will also contain 8 off-street parking spaces. Is that correct?
Yes.
And this is, their first appearance. This shall be moved and approved by the Planning Board Approval, Hudson Essex County Soil Conservation District and Paterson Walnut Historic District. He so moves. Is there a second?
Madam Secretary, before you ask for a second, Commissioner Lorenzo, do you want to incorporate the condition about the building being?
About the color, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so if I could just put that on the record, Madam Secretary. That the building be earth tone and clay colors on the exterior of the building that fit within the character of the neighborhood.
Absolutely. I thought that because we spoke about it earlier. But that's fine, it's amazing. Is there a second?
Second?
That was Commissioner Santana, Commissioner Cleese. Santana. Okay. Yep. Okay, roll call, please.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, Commissioner Cleves.
Yes.
Commissioner Iranzo.
Yes.
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
Commissioner Amar.
Yes.
And Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes.
This application has been granted.
Thank you very much, members of the board.
Thank you. Commissioners, don't go anywhere. We have a couple of resolutions that have to be adopted this evening. I would assume that Mr. Appleby, are you going to be reading them, or is Mr. Deutsch?
Mr. Appleby.
To be honest, Madam Chair, unless I missed it, I didn't see any of them emailed to me. But
Well, I do have them. I'd be more than happy to read them in the record.
you can read them. You can read them, Madam Secretary. That's fine.
Mr. Deutsch, would you like to read them?
Go ahead, Madam Secretary.
Of course you would. Thank you. The first application of resolution is for Quality Realty Incorporated. The address is 150, 156 Market Street. This is for, site plan approval and bulk variances to develop a total of 49 new apartments and on the mezzanine level and 2nd through 7th floor of the existing building, which has a lot size of 12,000 and over square feet. Commercial spaces to remain on the 2nd floor, the mezzanine level, and there are quite a lot of other things that we do have here, but I'd like to go over this very quickly. This board was considered at the matter of March 2nd, 2022, regular meeting for the variances that were mentioned, and they, this is as follows. So is there a first motion on this resolution? Anyone? I don't hear anyone.
Maggie, I make the motion. Was I there? Was I there?
The commissioners that were there are as follows: Chairwoman Northrup, Commissioner Omar, Cleves, Figueroa, and Santana.
I make the motion. You need a second.
Second?
Who was second?
Santana.
Okay, Commissioner Santana. Okay. And, all in favor there?
No, I have to call the vote. Commissioners, Commissioner Omar,
Yes.
Commissioner Cleves,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa is absent, Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes.
This resolution has been adopted. The next resolution. One second, everyone. It looks easy, but it's not. Is JCM Properties X12 LLC, 175 Broadway, Paterson, New Jersey, located at 8385 Auburn Street, Block 3611, Lot 17. The applicant seeking site plan and bulk variances on a 2,997 square foot lot and remove the existing 3-story frame building and construct a new 3-story residential building with a total of 11 units. The following commissioners can vote. This application was granted on February 2nd, 2022, and will be adopted this evening. The commissioners that can vote are Commissioner Northrup, Commissioner Omar, Figueroa, Liranzo, Roman, Santana, and Kalik. May I have a first motion, please?
I make a motion.
So move.
Who's the
Motion
second?
made by me, second by Commissioner Lorenzo.
Okay. 1 second, everyone. Commissioners. Commissioner Cleves.
Yes.
Commissioner Cleese voted no on this one.
That's correct. I apologize, yes.
Okay,
Commissioner
thank you.
Cleves, I apologize, you cannot vote.
Thank
Can
you.
I have a, Commissioner Iranzo?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Roman,
Not here.
okay? Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
thank you. Commissioner Omar, I have her. Commissioner Omar, Commissioner Omar,
Yes, yes.
thank you. And Chairwoman Northrup,
Yes.
thank you. This resolution has been adopted. The next resolution is Tetrod Investments LLC, 6567 Auburn Street. Site plan approval and bulk variances to construct a new 4-story residential building with a total of 15 units on a vacant lot. This application, was the following commissioners can vote: Commissioner Northrup, Commissioner Omar, Commissioner Cleves, Figueroa, Liranzo, Roman, Santana, and Khalid. May I have a motion on this application?
So I make a motion.
Second.
Okay, 1 moment. Commissioners. Commissioner Omar,
Yes.
Commissioner Cleves,
Yes.
Commissioner Liranzo,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes.
Has been adopted. Our last resolution is Paterson Habitat for Humanity, 142-144, 146, 148-150, and 152 Governor Street. It is seeking major subdivision approval, site plan approval and bulk variances. The applicant has not filed a subdivision plot within the required 180-day time period required by the County of Passaic Register of Deeds. The applicant requests a reapproval from the Paterson Planning Board of the previous approval obtained at a meeting held on May 20th, 2022. At that meeting, the applicant obtained approval to merge lots 9, 10, 11, and 12, which have been combined lot area of 13,700 square feet, and subdivide them into 6 lots. This application has 2 votes, so we will begin with the minor subdivision first. So the commissioners that can vote on the minor subdivision are Commissioner Omar, Cleves, Figueroa, Santana, and Commissioner Chairwoman Northrop. Can I have a first motion?
So moved.
Second,
Who's the second, please?
yes,
Commissioner Cleaves? Yes.
yes,
Commissioners, Commissioner Omar,
Yes.
Commissioner Cleves,
yes,
Commissioner Santana.
Yes.
Yes.
This resolution has been adopted. I have no further business for the board.
Wasn't there a second portion to that?
For what? Oh, for the last application?
Or am I wrong?
No, you're right, you're correct. Hold on, let me look further. On the last page, yes. That was the other page, I didn't look at that. Hold on. So we're gonna continue with the site plan and bulk variances. Commissioner Northrop, Chairwoman Northrop, Amar, Cleves, Figueroa, and Santana. This is for site plan and bulk approvals.
So moved.
second,
Commissioner Cleves, thank you.
Yes.
Commissioners, Commissioner Amar,
Yes.
Commissioner Cleves,
yes,
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes.
Thank you. The variances have been approved for this application. Thank you.
Okay, so, let me ask Mr. Deutsch, when's our next meeting? Is it Wednesday?
Wednesday, April 6th, yes.
Wow.
On the web.
On the web. April's already gone. March is gone, April is here, who knew? Okay, so may I have, so I wish everyone a good night, and I'm gonna, make a motion to close. Do we have a second? I have a second from Commissioner Lorenzo. Everybody, aye. Yes, thank you, Ms. Milan, for your efforts this evening. And I wish everybody a good night, okay? We'll see you on Wednesday.
Thank you all.
Good night, everyone.